Ready or Not is a tactical realistic FPS that focuses on special tactics CQB. The game has come a long way since releasing in 2023, where back then the primary concern was faulty AI and lack of content, but 1.0 recently released. So, is this game worth now playing in 2024? Noir here, and I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of the game to see if the price tag is justified. Lore-wise, the game puts you in control of a SWAT officer in the modern dystopian city of Los Sueños, a city completely overrun with crime. The players will have access to an extensive amount of equipment to subdue these suspects either lethally or non-lethally. The game, however, favors a realistic approach to taking down crime, because players will need to follow a strict code called Rules of Engagement, or ROE for short, in order to obtain the highest grade possible to unlock new tactical equipment. The game now features 18 maps at the time of this recording, and the replayability of the game comes from the randomized AI placement and statuses of the environment, such as locked doors or hostage scenarios. I found that throughout my entire playtime, no mission plays the same way, so players will need to use quick thinking and reflexes to make it out alive. So, Rules of Engagement is the core mechanic of the game that separates Ready or Not from Call of Duty Run and Gun. Each player will need to follow the strict rule set during each operation, or they will receive heavy penalties during the game and when they get graded. So, for example, officers will need to yell for compliance before firing any lethal shots. Should the suspect become a threat at any time, then officers will not be penalized for shooting them down. The AI has drastically improved over the last few months, even year. The AI now can be very smart. They can fake a surrender only to quick pull a gun out or charge at you with a knife. Sometimes they play dead. But what I also noticed is that they are using their environment way more often to hide or to flank. Players have to be really sharp. So the game now offers over 30 guns. The gunplay is completely solid and responsive, with realistic recoil from the various weapon calibers from 9mm to 5.56. There's a cool suppression mechanic that really limits your accuracy for getting shot, so if you're pinned down, your fellow officers have to come to your rescue. You can't really do it all on your own. Movement is still very crisp, and it changes dramatically based on the type of body armor that you wear. So for example, heavy body armor with metal plates will have very high durability against rifle rounds, but will cause you to have sluggish movement. In contrast, taking a Kevlar vest, which doesn't really have a lot of rifle round protection, but in return gives you a lot of mobility when you're turning corners, doing peeks, all that fun stuff. In single player modes, your AI squad has been improved dramatically. They no longer get stuck when getting told to restrain a suspect or walk halfway across the map just to secure a single gun. AI and the animations associated have been greatly improved since the game first launched. At the time of this video, the multiplayer is still alive and kicking, and you can generally find a lobby within seconds of searching, but the unable to connect screen still pops up here and there. But it's been a lot better since. A lot better than when the game first launched. You can still find a party or two on the official Discord, and usually these are a blast because they tend to follow traditional ROE, making for a great time. Random searching lobbies alone is still good, however, they usually put you in a lobby full of people that tend to run and gun. But when you run into that one group that communicates and applies teamwork, I don't think there's a single realistic PvE shooter that comes anywhere close to Ready or Not. Nothing comes close. Visually, the game looks absolutely stunning to look at. From the beaches to the creepy port docks, the set pieces in this game are just so detailed and wonderful. The design team from the missions have done such an excellent job creating these environments. They just keep you immersed. No complaints about the graphics at all. A massive plus for Ready or Not is that you don't need to purchase the new DLC to play with other players that own it. Only the host needs to own the fairly priced DLC. Players can join the lobby regardless of ownership. Speaking of the DLC, the new maps are amazingly detailed and absolutely spooky to traverse. And it comes with, well, it's technically an update, but it did come with new guns and new toys to play with that everyone can use regardless of the DLC. Just incredibly well done. Speaking of add-ons, the game is also moddable. And it features mod.io integration directly on the game's main menu, and it features a variety of cool mods such as weapon reskins or AI behavior changes. It only adds even more to the game's replayability. Ready or Not isn't exactly perfect though. For starters, as the new content comes out, as well as a recent shift to its new Unreal Engine for the game, Ready or Not requires you to have a somewhat powerful PC to run the game smoothly. It's pretty demanding, and at the least, if you want to have a visual delight, you're going to need to cough up some serious dough for a good PC. There are still some AI issues, such as civilians running into gunfire, and some performance issues, but the devs have done a good job listening to the crowd and applying fixes where necessary. Other than the rinse and repeat of missions, some players might find that Ready or Not is still lacking in worthwhile progression, other than just cosmetics. There's no level system or upgradable skills, it's just pure AI tactical bot stomping, like Ground Branch, and this might be a turnoff to some gamers. So, after all of this, is the game worth playing? At 50 USD, I say absolutely it is. You'll definitely get a solid 50-60 hours on it, even more if you enjoy the realistic tac sim the game offers. It's still continually receiving support and updates, and the game has a cult-like fanbase. While it's true there's a lack of any progression, the core realistic gameplay and amazing environments more than make up for it. I'd say this is definitely one to try either alone or with a good group of friends, and the experience will definitely be enjoyable. Ready or Not gets a solid 8.9 out of 10. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard and seen, please leave a like, comment, or even better, subscribe. I highly appreciate you listening this far, and I will catch you on the next one.